This video is an in-depth look at Sifu's gameplay, which is set to come out on the 8th of February.
I warned you, asshole.
So I'm sure you no doubt know that this is a fighting game. It very much reminds me of Absolver, if you've ever played Absolver. It's a very hectic learning curve based fighting game, and Sifu follows that kind of route. So in the game there are a series of like bosses that you need to reach as checkpoints, and during the game you can kind of choose which path you go. I could go left through that door, I can go up here, and these are like shortcuts that you can take to avoid fighting too many people. Or if you're trying to find people to fight, then go ahead, but ideally you want to fight as few people as possible, because the more you die in this game, the more your age goes up. You can see currently my age is 20 at the top left of the screen. This can go up to a point where you are just too old to actually fight anymore, and it's actually cool because you can actually watch your character age in progression. Like we watch them go from a 20-year-old to a 30-year-old, 40, 50, 60, 70, etc. like that. You can actually see the character aging. It's a really cool mechanic, but it's also very unforgiving because the more you die, the more you age, you kind of can't finish the game anymore. Once you get too old, you have to play from the beginning again at age 20, and you have to kind of deal with the difficulty curve and just get better at the game and stop dying to actually beat the game. As you can tell here, there are a variety of like ways to fight here. There's weapons, you have light attacks, heavy attacks, you have actual combo attacks as well. They're a little bit harder to pull off. You have dodges, you have parries, and you use all of these to beat your opponents and learn how they fight so that you can fight them the best way possible. This game relies heavily on your combat strategy and kind of being able to control the fight as much as possible. You also don't want to get into fights where you're fighting too many people all at once, because if you're dodging the entire time, you have like a little bar on your screen that if it goes all the way to the top, people can do a lot of damage to your health bar directly. And a lot of times that this has happened to me, it's actually killed me. And there's also cool scenes like this. Like, I'm just gonna let you enjoy what you're about to see. This is Sifu.
He's off.
Holy shit!
As you've no doubt seen here, using the weapons like this crowbar, for example, really changes how brutal this game is visually. Like, that felt awesome, dude. Like, to actually do that right up there is crazy, dude. It feels amazing. Now, this is the beginning of the game. It's very early on, and it's very easy as well. It gets progressively harder by like insane amounts. It's not a forgiving game. It's very difficult. It's not easy. You're going to struggle quite a lot the further you get on in this game. You're going to have situations that are throwing you into corners where you have like hardly any health, and trying to fight enemies who are blocking all the time when they're all attacking you all the time really works on you, especially with your little meter at the bar at the bottom there. If that gets filled, you just end up getting like steamrolled by all the enemies. And of course, if you have enemies who have special attacks like where they glow yellow, or if they have weapons, for example, they deal a lot more damage, so you kind of want to avoid them as much as possible. Now, this death counter seems simple. It's just one death, and it goes to your age. So I go 20 to 21 in age. I have to use this little charm here to kind of, rise once more. And this one death counter goes to my age, and I become 21 years old, like this. Now, this death counter is actually a bit trippy, because if I actually lose here again, that 1 you can see at the top left of the screen is still there. If I die again, that death counter goes to 2, and the next time I die, it will go up in 2, so I'll go from 21 to 23 years old. But if I kill somebody here, or I beat these people, or use like a takedown attack, it will actually remove one of those skulls, so that I don't age as quickly. So if you keep dying to the same enemy or same boss over and over and over, it's a very quick way to ramp up your deaths. You can see there, because I beat those enemies, my death counter went back to 0. So the next time I die, it will only add 1 to my age instead of 2 years.
I'm getting closer.
Throughout the game, you'll find these little statues. They look like this here, and these will give you 2 options. You'll get to pick new abilities that you can unlock with experience that you gained, and these are more like combo attacks that you unlock that you can do, like, you know, holding Y will allow you to do that kind of charged back fist move. So you pick one that you know is going to benefit you, or sounds like it's more your style, like something like this, a spin hook kick, where you press Y again, and then you kind of wait a short while, and then you press Y to do that spinning kick. And then on this screen as well, you'll actually get to increase different things, like increase your structure, which is like your stamina bar, your weapon's durability, or health gained on takedowns when you take down enemy opponents. So you can see the more you play, the more you progressively unlock. So you have to kind of like build a pattern of what you're going to do to quickly succeed in this game. During the game, you'll also find a few kind of like mini bosses, or like challenge enemies or something, that are different from usual, not bosses, but a lot stronger than your default grunts that you'll be fighting. So this guy's going to have a lot of special attacks. He's going to have attacks like where he tries to pick me up and throw me. I'm supposed to avoid him, but for some reason the controls can be a bit weird for me sometimes, where it doesn't react. Like when you press RT and you press the left stick back, and it doesn't do anything, which I don't really quite understand. But perhaps I'm still trying to get the hang of like how the controls work, because your left analog stick really takes into account a lot of the movement attacks that you want to do. Like there is a sweeping attack kick that you can do where you have to go back but then forward and then press Y, but you have to do it in quick succession without doing anything else, and it's hard to kind of move that into your combo of like moving around your enemy. So instead of like parrying, I tend to rely on actually dodging backwards instead most of the time, which you'll see a lot in the future clips here, where I start to kind of rely more on like the dashing away instead of like parrying, which parrying I should actually do more often. It's just something that I kind of like found a comfort zone in. Check it out.
Stop him, for fuck's sake.
You can see this is a very dangerous position to be in. You'll also note that when you do takedowns, you actually heal.
Careful, he's got a weapon.
So if you get to do that like special takedown button when you press it when they're low health, you'll actually be able to gain health from it.
Enjoy this.
And also, enemies sometimes kind of go into Super Saiyan mode, like this guy here glowing in yellow, and he becomes like a god out of nowhere. Almost killed me in like a few hits there. You can see my health is very dangerous, and he didn't end up getting me because I was tied to a wall, literally. So the game is already getting progressively harder, and I'm already 23 years old, and we haven't even fought the first boss yet. But luckily when you respawn, you get to fight the enemies with their health that they had when you died, so it's not like you start the fight again. You just kind of like started with now you're older. And if you didn't know, that as you get older in the game, like when you get 30 and then like 40, your damage starts to go up, but your health actually gets lower. So you die easier, but you kill enemies quicker. So it literally gets so intense. You can see these enemies are quite tricky to beat.
Nerves get the better
I'm
of
trying
you.
to avoid his special kicks. God damn it. He always gets me, dude. So this is the first time I've died twice in a row, and you can see my death counter is going to go up by 2. So it's 23 to 25 years old because I died twice in a row to this enemy here. But when I defeat him, it goes back down to 1. So it minuses 1 every time you defeat the enemy who kind of like defeated you. And now you're gonna witness some kind of like sneaking tactics where enemies don't notice you, and when you get to jump on them, you end up doing like a lot of damage, and you can sometimes take their structure bar, which is like the stamina bar in this game, to 0 immediately, and you can kind of go to that takedown in one click. Like watch this again.
Honest.
There we go. See? And then boom. That fucking hurts, dude. Ow. And now I'm going to take on this whole room, try sneak attack on this lady over here, but I think she noticed me too early because I didn't hit enough in time. Your weapons do break, as you saw over there, so that's something you should be worried about. But when enemies are fighting you and they drop their weapons, you can actually pick up their weapons and knock their weapons out of their hands too. So it's all about finding a rhythm to play the game.
He has a weapon.
A whip! Ow. Yeah. I laughed at him and he's now smacking me like a little bitch. This is definitely a game you're gonna get better with by playing it more and more and more. These are like my first like 30 to 40 minutes of actually playing, so don't judge me too harshly. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead and I'm going to show you the first boss that I actually did manage to beat without like losing the game just yet, but I did end up aging like twice my age. So this is just before the boss arena, and we're just fighting this big guy over here. I'm just going to show you another kind of like style of him, how he plays there. Try to stun him every time he tries to do anything to me. Just don't get yourself backed into a corner like that, because it's just not good. Okay, so now I'm going to cut ahead to the boss fight directly. I'm not going to really show you the cutscenes or anything there because I feel like it's more interesting for you to witness that yourself. Not that there's really much, it's more about the fight. So this guy is your first major boss that you need to defeat. He's called the Botanist, and he has 2 phases. So the first time you beat him, you'll have to actually fight him again, and he has some hectic, powerful kicks like this that destroy your stagger or structure bar. I should just call it structure bar because that's just what it's called now. And you should by all means try avoid his shining yellow kicks as much as possible, because if he hits you after that, you're going to take damage. So for the most part, what I actually ended up doing against him was dodging to the left and the right as he does these special attacks. It was actually quite difficult finding a time to attack him, but it seems after he does a lot of his attacks here, he kind of pauses for a short while, and I use these as my opportunities to dish a little bit of damage in, and then kind of like back off immediately. This is in no way a game that you can just straight up go zerg the bosses just like in a hectic attack spree. They will actually just destroy you like that. And that was my first death against the boss. And even in boss fights, you will respawn and the boss will still have his current health that he had before, so you just continue the fight left off there. Just know, because you're fighting the same enemy, the next time you die, your death counter is going to go up by 2, and the third time by 3. You're going to just age very quickly when you die against bosses. And also our damage isn't doing too much against him. Especially since he parries and dodges and blocks a lot. And then shit like that happens. So now our character Sifu is 31 years old. I don't know if you're already able to notice that he's actually aged in terms of how his character looks and how his hair color is too. It's also very interesting that like, as your character ages, they get more stronger, so your hits actually do more damage. So it's good, but your health pool is actually a lot less, so it means you can get hit by fewer attacks and die a lot quicker. So the older you get, the quicker you die, but the quicker you kill too, so it's like quite a hectic trade-off. One thing you should note that the dodging or like the dashing left and right actually doesn't consume your stamina or structure bar. It's more for like your defenses and the attacks that you actually take. So you can dodge and like, you know, sidestep as much as you want. It's only when you're actually blocking or taking attacks directly where your structure bar is actually affected. Your enemy is also going to have a structure bar as well. There's also this focus mode that you can select certain points on the enemy's body to kind of like get attacks out there. So that one was like a sweeping thing to put him on the ground, and then I hold B on my controller, because I'm playing on controller on PC, to hit him while he's on the floor, which deals a decent amount of damage, and it was like a cheap shot that I could get on this guy, because he's slowly making me age up to 34. But all I need now is one last hit, because you can see his health bar is practically in the red. He's literally just one hit away, but yeah, so that happens. Okay, let's cut to the second phase of this fight. Because I defeated him the first time, my death counter did go down by 1. But now he spawns in and he's got his machete. He's going to cut you, dude. He is going to stab you and slash at you. And it's not going to feel good. He's going to kill me a few times more in this next fight here, because he has a whole different attack pattern. But one thing that is nice is he takes a lot more damage, if you can tell over here, but he's a lot more aggressive, and he's harder to find little opening spots, because he will just lash at you with different attacks, and he then does this and hides into the trees and then flings at you that you got to dodge at the last second to avoid getting slashed. He's quite a tricky fight, but he's not by all means difficult. It just takes something you got to learn. I'm also not the greatest at these types of games, so if your reaction times and playing games like this are good, then you should be fine at this game. You might just have to learn a bit more for like more harder versions of the game, like where you get to the next 5 bosses. And now our character is 37 years old, and we're still in this fight. As you can see, boss fights in this game take away a lot of your lifespan to play the rest of the game. There we go. Finally learning to dodge. There we go. He caught me with that kick. I'm trying to like analyze his pattern of attack, but sometimes he just does so many kicks there. And then he catches me off guard. Like, you have to be quick. You have to know what your opponent's gonna do to be able to counter them. And I think that's what Sifu is all about. It's a straightforward game. It's just difficult to master. There we go. But he got me with that kick again, damn it. Sifu is now 41 years old. I'm pretty sure you should be able to notice the difference in how he looks, especially his hair is getting a lot more whiter than it was before. It also seems like he's growing a big beard. And his ponytail, I think, too. Oh, there's that kick, that shiny kick. I don't like that. This guy's attacks are ruthless, and you can see my health is way less than what it used to be. The fact that he can kill me that quickly. So you can imagine what it's going to be like getting to the final boss in the game, and you're old, and all it takes is him to like hit you 3 or 4 times, and you are gone, dude. So you're going to fail every boss towards the end of the game multiple times, I'm pretty sure. So if you like a challenge, this game's definitely for you. Man, dude, I just need a few more hits, but I think, yeah, he's gonna get me again. Like, I'm freaking out, because I'm like, I just want one more hit, and he caught me. And this is it. I'm now in my 50s. I'm 52 years old. So you can see how quickly that progress just ramped up. And that is the first boss in Sifu. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, like an in-depth look at how the gameplay actually works. And I'm excited to see where the rest of the game goes, if I can even beat the rest of the game, because it's quite difficult. Let me know what you guys think of it. Are you excited for it to play it on Tuesday? Drop a comment down below, and thank you so much for watching.